Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So, alhamdulillah. One of the brothers had was asking me about where certain books of tafsirs where they have explanations saying like certain things in the Quran as far as the day of Yom Kippur, the day of the resurrection, the last day. How certain tafsirs was saying it had already happened, and we just haven't caught up with it yet, right? And he remembered me saying that certain Quran ayats, when you read the Quran in the Arabic, you will see that it's written in past tense, like it already happened. Some English translations leave it in past tense, and some kind of put it in a future tense. But he basically asked me can I read like a small example of where it's in past tense. So I chose just a couple of little short ayats, but there's definitely a lesson that can be learned from this surah. I'm not going to read a lot of ayats, just the first few, and then a breakdown, because people find themselves in an extremely difficult situation, and when they enter this difficult situation, they realize exactly why they're there. And that's something that we could ponder and reflect on. And it made me sit down and ponder and reflect. Like, this is something that sounds crazy to me. See, I was Muslim in 1994, right? This 2024. That's 30 years. So in 1994, I was Muslim. So people who've even been alive, who was alive at that time, they could see how much different life is. The type of phones that we use, the way cars are different, right? TVs. There's a lot of things about the world that's different. From 1994 to 2004, I've seen a lot of different changes within the Muslim Ummah. And it reminded me of certain ayats and different hadiths where it was saying the people didn't even start to argue until the knowledge came. Once the knowledge actually came, they started to differ. Right now in 2024, there's an access to so much knowledge that people didn't have access to in 1994. Like 94, you couldn't get on the internet and do a lot of the stuff that you could do right now. You couldn't really communicate with people all across the globe with stuff like WhatsApp, and these things wasn't available in 1994. So you have access to more Islamic knowledge, but the Muslim Ummah, there's more. It's like there's more differing and more separation than ever. But alhamdulillah, man. So like I said, it just was something that kind of made me reflect on something like, I was Muslim in 1994. And just thinking back, just thinking to then and now, subhanallah, then. So this Quran ayat, man, it will, inshallah, it help people reflect. And like with me saying in 1994, me being Muslim in 94 and me being Muslim now, this ayat that I'm going to point out, it shows kind of the difference in what they seen, and this is like a major problem. I could understand this being said from them, because we're getting to a time where you can see it in the Muslims already, and they haven't even reached this destination yet. Let me point it out. Let me read it. So just to show some of the past tense where we not going to do the English the way some translations do it. So we going to use Surah 67, right? So it starts off, supremely blessed is he in whose hand is the dominion, and he is all powerful over everything, the one who created death and life to test you. So death is a test, life is a test. Not only our own death, but people dying around us. Friend, foe, family, neighbor, co-worker. Their death can also be a test for us. Their life, how they live, how we live. Death and life. So the one who created death and life to test us. What is this test referring? Why is this test? Again, there's numerous ayahs that discuss about how we're going to be tested, what these tests going to look like. So it's pointing out how death and life is also a test for us, right? Why is this test? As to see who of us is better in conduct. Who's going to be able to conduct themselves like a Muslim in times of difficulty? In those sticky situations, who's going to do what Islam tells them to do? Will you even know what to do? See, these things is where you're getting tested. So to see who's the best of us that's in conduct, right? For he is the Almighty and the All-Forgiving, the one who created 7 heavens in layers, and you see no discrepancy in the creation of the All-Merciful. So then it says, so look again. Can you see any splits? So when you looking at the sky, you looking at the clouds, you're seeing the effects of the wind blowing. You feel the effects of the wind blowing. A cool breeze on a hot day. A extremely cold breeze on a cold day. But you see no imperfections in this. The sun doing its job perfectly. The moon doing its job perfectly. You look up at the sky and the clouds, you don't see any. All you see is perfection in that. The rain, the clouds doing their jobs perfectly to distribute the rain. So you don't see any rifts, you don't see any mistakes in what Allah Azza wa Jal created. Even in the nighttime when you seeing the stars, it's perfection. you know? So this is what Allah is telling us, right? Then look again and again. Your sight will return to you bedazzled and exhausted. So when you really know how to sit back and like apply the Quran in there, and when you understand the thunder, the lightning, and how this is the angels moving the clouds, the rod, in Surah Al-Arad, it speaks about this. And when you understand what some of the stars and different things that's in the sky, if you look and you ponder and reflect on what the Quran and how deep tells you about these things, you'll be in amazement. That's what it's saying. It's letting you know. That's why look again, and you're going to be bedazzled. You will get exhausted before you run out of stuff to look at. You'll exhaust your mind before you run out of new things to look at, when you know what you're looking at. The beauty. Even the way these things can form tornadoes. You know, tsunamis. You know, alhamdulillah. So it says, and indeed, we have adorned the lowest heavens with lanterns and made them missiles against the shaitan and the shayatins, the jinns, who of course trying to eavesdrops on the heavens. But with the adornments, right? We adorned the lowest heavens with lanterns. This is like referring to your stars, right? Because they're beautiful at night. Like on a nice, good, beautiful night, the way you could look at the sky and just see the stars and the moon, how beautiful it is, right? So it says, so we adorned the lowest heavens with lanterns and made them missiles against the shaitan and the shayatins. And we have prepared for them the punishment of a blaze. So it's letting you know these shaitans and these shayatins, there's a punishment for them in a blazing fire, right? And for those also, for those who denied their Lord, is the punishment of hell, right? And what a miserable destiny. Now we're going to get to where it starts speaking in past tense, right? When they are thrown into it, when they're thrown into this fire, they hear it roaring, right? As it seethes. And that's kind of like, so like when I see this and I see the words that are used in the Arabic, it makes me picture some type of lava, some type of hot liquid. Because the word it used is sort of like when, let's say you cooking soup or something and it boil, but like you have herbs and you have different stuff, or you making like some spaghetti sauce or something like that. And as it boil up, it'll bubble up and like it'll bring like some of your herbs and stuff up to the top on like a foam. Because of the boiling, they done got hot and they done boiled up. Basically, that's what it's saying when the people that's getting thrown in it, and as they're hitting it, it's going to boil up. A'udhu billahi min dhalik. Right? So, like it says, as it sees, it almost burst with rage. So it's like a boiling rage, man. Like you know. So then it says, every time a crowd is thrown into it, its keepers, the guardians of the hellfire, right, ask them, did not a warner come to you? A prophet, other knowledgeable people or people in the communities, did not a warner come to you and say something? Your Quran, they said. See how that's past tense? So Allah Azza wa Jal is telling us what happened with the people, and it's telling Allah Azza wa Jal is telling us what they said. Past tense. Like it has already happened. We just haven't caught up with it yet. They said, yes, a warner did come to us, but we disbelieved. We belied. We ignored. We didn't take that person serious. You see what I'm saying? And said, Allah didn't bestow anything from on high to you. You know what I'm saying? You not a prophet. Allah didn't give the wahi to you. Allah didn't reveal nothing to you. You ain't nobody. That's basically how they played them. Who is you? We own something better than what you own. We doing what we do. That's how they treated the people who came and warned them. I don't want to hear that, man. You can't tell me nothing. You know what I'm saying? Whether they was a prophet, a messenger, students of the prophet, a messenger, imams, other people in the community, they Muslim brother, they Muslim sister, from the minbar and a kutbar, and they just played them like, you ain't talking about nothing. Or you just think you know everything. You think you better. Belied them. They played them like a ball head, man, like they used to say. But look what it say, though. Right? Allah didn't bestow anything from on high to you. You really just misguided. You the one that's misguided. But then this is what they say. And they said. Now here where the regret come in. And this is the ayat. And like me saying, I was a Muslim in 1994. And this is some of the difference that I'm seeing in 2024. But I've really been seeing this heavily, probably starting around maybe 2018, maybe. Where I started to see it getting to a point to where it is now. But look what they say. Look what the regret. And this is what they said. And Allah is informing the Rasul where we being informed in Quran al-Kareem. And like I said, what they say, I can understand them saying that because I'm starting to see this same thing in the Muslim Ummah right now today. All of this same behavior. When you try to warn them, you know, when you say certain things, they don't want to hear it. They already got ready-made excuses. They good. But they know they really not good. As long as they've got an excuse that they comfortable with living with. But the guilt is still there because they know it's wrong. You know, and like I say, with me, sometimes with these YouTube videos, I feel like I be doing my job because people that I don't even be talking to feel like I be talking about them. If you can get everybody to feel what you saying, even if you never met them, even if you never had a conversation with you, and they feel it, like, man, that applies to me. That's referring to me. Man, that's Allah Azza wa Jal. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes I have to say to people, just because it applies to you doesn't mean I'm talking to you. You know what I'm saying? Like even having to say with one person because just because I had a recent incident with an individual who has dogs, but I was doing a conversation about the angels and dogs in the house before I knew that person. So just because the subject matters of dogs get brought up after I met them, that don't mean I'm talking about them because I was talking about dogs before I knew them. I know all type of Muslims that had dogs in their house. And that's just on them. But if the subject matter is getting brought up, this is a subject matter that's brought up in Hadith. This is a subject matter that's brought up in the Deen of Islam. So like if certain things get brought up and it just happened to apply to you, that don't mean the person is talking about you. You see what I'm saying? Just like if a person is talking to somebody else, but they don't know me, they ain't had a conversation with me, and it just happened to apply to me, I'm going to be on the alhamdulillah side. Man, alhamdulillah, you know what? I need to work on that. Not, see that cat slick talking, shooting shots at me. No, he just happened to speak on something that applied to me too. You know what I'm saying? That man spoke on something that applied to me too. Let me be accountable for being in the wrong on that and fix it. Alhamdulillah, that's what I'm going to do. And like if I don't recognize it and somebody else pointed out at me, the only times I may feel like if somebody is shooting shots at me is when they wrong about something. But they trying to aim it at me. And then it's going to be funny to me. Just like, for instance, let's say some people somewhere and they having an argument about something. And I just happen to walk up to stop the arguing and see them doing something wrong. And then somebody, because they didn't say nothing and they knew about it and they let them be in the wrong, so they want to say some stuff like, oh, well, I don't be walking around looking to try to catch people doing wrong. When that ain't what I did. Even though it's clear, and they back there arguing, let me go stop the argument, and then I see them doing something wrong. When people, now that's shooting shots to me. Because of your deficiency, and because you wasn't on point, and you didn't have the heart to say something, and then it comes out, you knew that they was doing this wrong, you watched them do this wrong, and you let them do it, now you want to get mad at the person who had the heart to correct it. That's shooting shots to me. Now, if somebody talking to somebody who stole something because they caught them stealing, but I stole too, and they talking about the stealing, I can't be like, oh, the brother trying to be funny. He trying to shoot some shots at me, but he don't know I stole. He just happened to be talking to somebody who did steal. Now I got to deal with me. I can't reflect it towards him. Oh, he think he funny. See, he think he all that. He always trying to shoot shots. Now, because now I got to look at me. Dang, man, I done sat up here and stole. Man, let me put this stuff back. Because, see, now I got to deal with me, see. And that's what some people don't like. When you put them in a position where they have to deal with who they are and their actions, but you don't even know you talking to them. They know it because it applies to them, see. Everybody don't like that. That ain't shooting shots. You see what I'm saying? So that's going into this next ayat. Listen to what they said. Because now it's boiling down to accountability. Now they being accountable and they accepting what it is, but it's too late. It's too late. They already in the hellfire now. It ain't no escaping. It ain't no getting out. Their affair has been decided. And look what they say, man. Has all reversed. The warner came to us. Even if they wasn't talking to us directly, even if they didn't know of our situation and they was talking to somebody else about it, or just talking about the situation, we knew it applied to us. But instead of dealing with ourselves, we dealt with them and reflected our anger up on the person that was talking. You ain't nobody. Allah ain't gave no revelation to you. Who you think you is to be saying something? You ain't got the right. You just a backbiter. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't want to deal with who they are. They don't want to fix them. So instead of fixing the liar that they are, they're going to try to change the truth that's in you. You ain't nobody. Who you think you is to be warning me? This is what they did. So look what they said, man. And this is what I'm starting to see. This is what they said right here. Had we listened. Had we listened. Had we reasoned. Had we really sat down and assessed the situation and fixed who we were. We listened, used some reason, look at the situation and fixed who we were, and just used some intelligence, we would not have been amongst the people of this blazing hellfire. Now, some translations is going to say, they will say. But when you look at the Arabic, and then some translations who kind of stick closer to the Arabic, is going to put, they said. And Allah is informing us of what these people said when that fire burnt that booty. And you know what they said? All we had to do was listen. Use a little bit of reason and fix us instead of rejecting that energy on the person that says something to us directly or indirectly, or they weren't even talking to us indirectly, but because it applied to us, we took it directly. But at the end of the day, no matter how the gum got in their mouth, they chewed it. Sometimes it don't matter how the gum end up in your mouth. It's all about if you gonna chew it. You see what I'm saying? So, had they listened and used some reason, this is what they said. Allah Azza wa Jal is telling us what they said. Had we listened, when that warner came, when that message got to us, when those conversations reached us directly, indirectly, they was talking to somebody else and it applied to us. All we had to do was listen, use a little bit of reason, and fix it. Because usually when it's a Muslim and they being sincere, they talking about something that go against the deen of Islam. This is why these individuals ended up in the hellfire, because they're not fixing the things that go against the deen of Islam. But what they do is, and this is one of the tricks of Shaitan. Shaitan makes your wrongdoing fair seeming. Shaitan beautifies your wrongdoing. What does this look like? He gives them excuses to give to everybody else. Oh, well, I was only doing that because of this. Oh, well, my reason for doing this is because of this. Cool. That's your reason, but it still go against the deen of Islam, baby. You can't change those facts. They're excuses, but they're not valid excuses. And all you got to do is get in your Quran and take note, take heed from the people who got their booty burnt. And as they clearly said, when the keepers of the hellfire those guardians, ask them. You know what I'm saying? Because they see what they going through. Didn't the warner come to you? Didn't somebody come and try to talk to you about what you was doing? But rhetorical. Kind of like when you getting your butt whooped by your parent. Didn't I tell you don't do it no more? Didn't I tell you to stop? Didn't I tell you to do this? Rhetorical. Didn't the warner come tell you that you know what I'm saying? Quit doing what you're doing? They want to be honest now. Yeah. People came to us, but we slandered them. Prophet, imam, local brother or sister at the masjid, outside of the masjid. This is what they said when they said, yeah. We playing like, hey man, Allah didn't reveal nothing to you. Who was you to be telling me? Matter of fact, you beneath us. We need to be telling you something. You think you know something because you read a book. You think you something because you took a class. They belied them. Or you just trying to throw some shots. You shooting shots at me. You know what I'm saying? But that's something I've been dealing with for the longest. I'm never surprised when sometimes I remember there was times in the day 3-4 people might hit me up. And I wasn't even talking to not now one of them. Sometimes I was shocked, like, whoa, you be doing that? You was doing that? I ain't know that was you. But me and the subject, I'm talking about in the subject matter, that's something harmful to your deen, ain't it? Don't call me, call yourself. How about that? Pick up the phone and say, hey, you tripping. Don't call me talking about, man, you tripping talking about me. What? What was I talking about? About how when people be doing this and doing that and whoa, wait a minute. You be doing that? You need to call yourself. You know what I'm saying? Cause see, like these brothers, by the time these brothers and sisters, when they called theyself, it was over. But listen to that key thing they said. All we had to do was listen and just use a little bit of reasoning and fix ourselves and be intelligent about the situation. Had we done that, we wouldn't be in the hellfire right now. And that's what I'm seeing in the Muslim Ummah right now. They don't listen, man. And then when they do hear, is when they think you talking about them sideways, but they don't reason and fix the situation. They don't get intelligent about it. And then at the end of the day, let's say I was talking to you. If I did say it in this and I was talking to you, I talked to you before we did the before I said something in the video. You know what I'm saying? That's if I actually was talking to you. Now if it just happened to apply to you also and I wasn't talking to you, you need to call yourself. You know what I'm saying? You need to call you and be like, you know what? You need to quit playing with this thing. But I'm going to end it on that because I just wanted to give them an example. This Surah 67, a beautiful surah to sit down and reflect and ponder on. Just those few lessons right there. Just imagine that. This is what they said. You could learn from the people who ended up in the hellfire and try to save yourself from it. And anything that I say that involves Islam, beautiful, ugly, it applies to me too. Like Like how you hear some of the people in knowledge say, my ears is closer to my mouth than anybody's. Unless I'm right here directly whispering in your ear. The words that come out of my mouth apply to me too. You know what I'm saying? So I'm always speaking to myself first. Always. No matter what the conversation is about, man. You know what I'm saying? But take them words from the people who actually end up with that booty being burnt up. You know what I'm saying? Had we listened, used a little bit of reason and absorbed and assessed the situation and just fixed what the problem was. Be intelligent about it. But instead, we got mad. We had all type of mouth for the person that said something about it, even if they wasn't even talking to us. Who you think you is? You the one that's misguided, not us. Allah didn't reveal nothing to you. even when it was a prophet. The why he ain't with you. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm starting to see, man. The people don't listen, man. They don't listen, man. Because they put themselves in a position, a lot of times, this applies to anybody that's Muslim, including me. You don't want to put yourself in a position, man, where you sealed up. Where that heart gets sick and you choose error over misguidance. Like what Allah say, not my words, like what Allah says. When a person sit down and say, hey, this is what it is, this is what's going on right here, this right here is going to lead to the anger of Allah Azza wa Jal. And then a person look you dead in the face and be like, what you telling me for? I ain't got no problem with all that. You probably shouldn't be saying nothing. You only saying something in their face because you think you tough. Because they let you talk like that. Yeah, you about to choose misguidance, B. You about to choose misguidance. You know what I'm saying? When you start seeing those things, man, you got to pay attention to what Allah Azza wa Jal said. Even if you had the heart to admit that you see it in yourself. You got to rectify them affairs. Just listen to that simple solution that would have kept the fire off that rump. Had we listened and just reasoned, fixed this little stuff, all we had to do was that, and be intelligent about it, we wouldn't be in the hellfire right now. You know what I'm saying? We wouldn't be in the hellfire right now. Then look what it says. Thus, they acknowledge their misdeeds. They started confessing their sins. They all started talking about all the wrong that they did, that they was warned about, that led to them being in the hellfire. Because after they realized what they had to do, now they starting to admit it. The stuff that they knew they was wrong about when it caught up with them while they was on this earth. But they got mad at the people who said something. They get mad at the imam on the minbar. The imam might not know that apply to you. They get mad at everybody but theyself. And that's one of the major differences what I'm seeing from 1994 to now. The Muslims used to listen so much back then that they did anything you told them. That's why some individuals is up on so much foolishness that didn't come from knowledge, they can't get it out of them. So like right now, when somebody come try to tell them the truth, hey, that what you was told, that was a mistake, this and that, they don't want to hear it. They don't want to listen. They don't want to use reason. They don't want to fix those things. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, then they started to acknowledge their misdeeds. They started confessing their sins. So away with them, back to the blaze, to the fire. Indeed, for those who fear their Lord, though Allah is unseen, there is forgiveness and a supreme reward. And keep your words secret or say them aloud. Indeed, Allah is all-knowing of what lies within the chest. Would he not know whomever he has created? While he is the subtle and the all-aware, it is he who made the earth manageable for you. So walk through it, walk through his regions and eat of Allah's provisions, and to him is the resurrection. Are you confident that the one in the heaven will not cause the earth to collapse beneath you as it spins? Or are you confident that the one in the heavens will not unleash against you a violent storm, a tornado, a tsunami? Are you confident that Allah Azza wa Jal won't unleash a hurricane on this earth? A hurricane, an earthquake, a tornado, and a tsunami all at the same time? Y'all remember a little bit before the summer? They had a crazy earthquake killing people in China, but at the same time it was a crazy hurricane killing people over here. Then right here in the Midwest, it was crazy tornadoes just ripping up and tearing up everything all on the same day. I remember Imam speaking about it. It's like, man, y'all can't see that this is Allah's wrath? This was just months ago. This was just months ago. Yeah. But, like I said, man, do you think Allah don't know who he created? They could have fixed it by that one simple thing. But see, that simple thing has to happen in this life. People need to learn how to listen, man. And you need to learn how to use that reason and look at the situation and fix it. Not get mad at the person who telling the truth about it. Not get mad at the person who's speaking on it. Who you think you is? You think you better than everybody because you took a class? Because you read a book? You got some books at home that you actually read. Now you think you know something. Yeah, okay. This is what they said they did when the warnings came to them. And then that regret kicked in. All we had to do was listen. But let me get up out of here, man. I got some things to do, man. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And just ponder on that. Read this, man. Read this surah, Surah 67. It ain't no very long surah, man. Sit back and read it. And ponder on it. And then keep in mind, this is from past tense. This is what they said. It already happened, baby. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.